it needs to be brought back into existence. Now, Mr Speaker, our approach to building and construction sites and bringing back the rule of law and bringing the unions to heel with respect to building and construction is very fair, and it's very middle of the road. I'm asked how this compares to other countries, and one of the countries which I'd like to compare it to, Mr Speaker, is Cuba, because I've noticed, Mr Speaker, an outpouring of praise for the former president of Cuba, Fidel Castro, in the last 24 hours from members of the Labor Party. But here's what the Human Rights Watch had to say about Fidel Castro's Cuba. Under Fidel Castro, the Cuban government refused to recognise the legitimacy of Cuban human rights organisations, alternative political parties, independent labour unions or the free press. He denied the Red Cross and Human Rights Watch access to the island to investigate human rights conditions. So Fidel Castro actually suppressed independent unions in Cuba, a much more extreme measure than the government is taking to try and restore the rule of law. But in the last 24 hours, Labor appears to have rediscovered their inner communists, Mr Speaker, because our old friend Senator Kim Carr, this is what he said on the passing of Fidel Castro. Vale Fidel Castro, extraordinary 20th century figure, survived 50-year embargo and 638 CIA attempts on life using ex-lovers. That's kind of in the weird category. That's in the weird category, Mr Speaker. But the member for Hindmarsh, he said Fidel Castro went from law student to revolutionary leader, communist figurehead and polarising global icon, R.I.P. Fidel. This guy's on first-name basis with Fidel Castro. R.I.P. Fidel. I suppose he calls the Ceausescu's Nikolai and Elena as well, does he, Mr Speaker? Now, Mr Speaker, it doesn't stop there. Troy Bramston, he exposed today that Shorten often has talked about seeing Castro give one of his speeches that went for hours. It was amazing, Shorten gushed. It was amazing. Oh, Lord, save us from soft-boiled lefties.